Yeah. Good day, everyone. Welcome to this session of Learning. My name is Mustapha Rufai, and our guest today is Idris Olubisi. Um, I would have him introduce himself in a second. Um, the Learning series is where we have a guest speaker share with us knowledge from their careers and experience, and we get to ask them questions and learn from how they have grown their career over time. Um, Welcome to our guest today. Please, let's meet you. Hi, Idris.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much, Mustapha. My name is Idris Olubisi. I am a software engineer and a technical writer. I currently work as a developer relations engineer, and I'm also the founder of Web3 Africa, a community focused on connecting the dots within the Web3 space, and not just for technical individuals alone, but also for non-technical individuals from other tech field in, in the tech space generally. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. And good to see you all.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I can see Chinonso Oluchi in the chat session. Nice of you to be here. All right. Let's get right to it. Today, we want to essentially talk about growing one's career with technical writing. This is something that you're familiar with. Um, I would like to hear what you think about technical writing. So let's start off. What makes a technical writer? How will you know that this is a technical writer or this is a technical writer?
Yes, so there are a lot of a lot of companies or firms. They have their own criteria for selecting who is a technical writer and who is not, right? But on a general note, as a technical writer, you're expected to be able to simplify historical jargons and probably an architecture, a product into something users can understand and relate with through your technical writing skills, right? So as a technical writer, you're expected to simplify complex solution into human readable, yeah, and also um, a content that can be read and that can be read by anyone on the internet trying to find solution to a particular concept or trying to learn one thing or the other, because most times it's not always solution but also about learning one thing or the other from content. So as a technical writer, you're expected to be able to simplify complex architecture or simplify products, create documentation guides that help anyone to understand that particular product or concept.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that makes sense and gives us an idea into how to begin this conversation. Okay, so there are several fields or several technical writing um, career paths. It is still
Yeah.
like that. What would you say is the one that you find most interesting, or the one that that you have um, that you find most comfortable, and why?
Yeah, so there are a lot of them, like you mentioned. So, but the truth is that the more you do it, the more you find the one you are comfortable doing, right? So, there's a part that focus on documentation. So, content generally, it can either be a video content or a written content. So, when we're talking about written content, that's where we get like technical writing, right? So, under technical writing, we have like the aspect that focus on documentation. We also have the aspect that focus more on how to guide on how to write something. We have another aspect that focus on medical paper research. We have other aspect focusing on maybe thesis, writing thesis that also classify as form of writing. So for me personally, I find documentation and also how to's very interesting. So the reason is that it helps me, express myself way better. Well, I think all of them you could express yourself, right? But when it comes to creating a technical content, guiding somebody, for example, how to build um, a Flask using CSS. So now you want to tell somebody how to build a Flask using CSS, right? You will need to explain the concept one after the other. And that way, while you're trying to explain the concept, you're also learning and you're also expressing yourself. So that's one of the reasons why I think I love, creating how to's that you see most of my content is either I'm creating something or I'm showing you something. Most of my content you need to most of the content I've created generally, right? You need to you figure out that I'm either creating a project, then teaching people on how to build that project, or I'm sharing resources that could help technical writers or that could help you learn a particular concept. So I always find it interesting when I have something to build and then talk about what I'm building.
All right. So I would say I want to ask these things you write. Do you previously have the knowledge of them, or how do you get started with the skills to write what you currently know?
Yeah, so the truth is that even if you have knowledge about what you think you want to write, you still need to spend more time researching. So spending more time researching now means that if you want to spend more time now researching, it means that you want to refresh your brain and also you want to be sure that you're not communicating the wrong thing to your audience. So for me as an individual, I mostly write about what I'm currently learning, right? So that gives me like a direction because of course I'm having like some hands-on and I'm also, you know, free. I'm just free to quickly talk about those things because, of course, I'm currently learning about it. And even if it's a concept I already know and I want to write about, the first thing first is to research. So if you feel you know this thing, then you need to research about it. And from there, you can be able to develop your outline on what you want to write about and how you want to write it.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next question I would like to ask is, how do you come up with topics or things that you write about? Do you have a particular way that you decide on what you want to write and how you write them?
Yes, so for topics, sometimes I get inspiration from from probably I'm just playing football, or I'm at the gym, or just doing something that is outside work. I just get to think about some few things, and before you know it, I come up with topics. But generally, I do get topics from, for example, now when I'm writing my if I'm writing like how to get started with React hooks, right? Then when I'm building that project using the React hooks, I might figure that okay, I need to add query. Then I'll start to think of it that do I just need to mention query and just move on, or I need to create a article specific for query, right? So that I can be able to reference it in that other one. So those are the ways I get while I'm writing content, I also get ideas for new content. So you should be open-minded and you should not just restrict what you're writing to that particular content, right? You might end up writing this thing now. For example, maybe you write about building something in Golang, then you share it within your community, and somebody is now having issues doing that same thing in JavaScript. That could be another topic idea for you personally. You can know that, then in the next, probably your next content or your next few content, you can put that into consideration on how to split same content in different languages. That's if you know them, right? And if you also want to take it as a challenge because you're a JavaScript developer, but you want to learn Go, that's another good way for you to get topics on what to write about because while you're learning Go, it's fresh and you tend to see new concepts. So you can easily just note down topics after you learn them and you're sure you are like good to go, then you can write about them. It doesn't matter if you learn from YouTube, from people's content, but you should just be sure that you can be able to pen down things with your own understanding because that what actually makes you different from any other people on the internet because the way you explain yours will definitely be different.
All right, thank you very much. We have an interesting question from Victoria. So Victoria is asking that she has a background in writing, but she wants to get into technical writing. How does she move that transition from normal writing, prose, fiction to technical writing?
So this is a little bit controversial, right? I've seen a lot of people that says, as a technical writer, you don't need the technical skills, and some says, as a technical writer, technical skills is very important. But me, I would say both works, right? But considering the fact that I have like technical background before transitioning into writing, so I might not be able to relate properly with somebody that doesn't really have like technical experience. But I've seen a lot of open source contribution that is just documentation, and I believe those people they don't have like technical experience, but they can be able to sync with an engineering anybody on the engineering team to understand the project, and from there they can create content. So as a content writer with a writing background, and you want to transition into technical writing, I think the only thing that is just missing there is the technical skills, right? That's the only thing that is missing. So don't get me wrong, right? Getting technical skills to transition into technical writing just helps you to secure many gigs as fast as you can within your niche, and also building something and writing about them. But you can still transition without the technical skills into technical writing. That's why you see people that contribute to README, open source contribution, updating their documentation. And aside open source contribution, you see like platforms for you to do contributions, for you to make contribution. It could be a design contributions, it could be anything generally that you need to, it's a concept or a project, and they need you to come up with documentation about that particular project. So if you are going the direction of not having a technical background before transitioning into technical writing, so you should consider writing thesis, paperwork, documentation mostly. But it's always good to have at least one technical experience, because
All right.
most things that you see everywhere, we're looking for a technical writer, either full-time, part-time, or a ghostwriter. They always ask if you have any technical skills. But the other way around is if you get people that just they already have like technical writer, but they want somebody that's focused on documentation alone, and they don't care if the person have like technical experience or not, because maybe they have a proper team that could guide the person through. So you see cases like that where you see maybe you've heard your friend getting a full-time role as a technical writer, and he or she doesn't have the background in technical experience.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we have a couple of other questions. Emmanuel is asking that. Um, Let me bring up Emmanuel's question. Emmanuel is asking that how many articles do you think one should write before you start applying for programs?
Oh, this is a fantastic question, right? So the truth is that uh, I've seen a lot of people apply to technical writing role when they just created one or two contents. The thing is that there is a particular approach I used for things generally. I think this is a little bit personal, right? And the approach is that I started using it way back from school, from university. So if you want to go all in, you go all in. If you want to go all out, you go all out. You don't go halfway, right? So you want to impress your potential employer, you need to go all in. You need to give your employer, like potential employer, everything he or she wants. Like give them option. Let them even select and tell you which one is your favorite. And you mention this, then they will tell you, this is our own favorite. Like give them option. So it's always good to write. I would suggest roughly 5 to 10 quality content before you start applying to any technical writing gigs. Right? Don't get me wrong. You can create three and apply. Then you see somebody, you get the role, which is totally fine. But generally, you need to create like 5 to 10 solid. When I mean solid content, like content that if you want to apply for any technical writing gig and they ask for your samples or any content that you have written in the past, you can easily just share. You understand? And you'll be sure that at least you should get a slot for an interview, even if you're not sure you get the role, right? So you should have something solid that you can share, that at the end of the day, the interview process would not be the generic one. You change the table, you turn the table, like my friend would say, you turn the table around, and now they'll forget to ask you some of the questions they already written down, and they will now start to talk about some of the things you have done in the past, like them just going through your content. They ask you, why did you write this content? Why did you think React was like the best use case for this content? They just change right? They just change the whole thing, and from there you can even get interest. Like it could pick interest in you over any other technical writer that just submitted one or two content. So you need to convince them, like be sure that you give them everything. So write as much as you can. Take time, take your time to write. Then when you start applying, you know that okay, yeah, I started to applying. Like the stage to apply is different for a stage. You need to prepare your portfolio.
Okay, thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense. Write as many things, make it visible, make it quality content. So the next question is from Kelv, and he's asking that if you were to start your career again, what are the things that you are going to do?
Okay. So now this is I don't really get the question clear, right? Start
If you are to
career as a
start again,
technical writer or
yeah, how will
as
you
a,
start?
is it as a
Yeah,
technical writer?
yes, as a technical writer and
Okay.
with everything joined.
Oh, okay. So I think to start all over again would be um, so it's a little bit hard for me, right, to tell as a technical writer because I started from having like a background in development, then I started writing. So, but I think what would really help me because I took some time out to understand how the technical writing field is before I started heavily, right? Before I started creating more content. So I think I spent more time understanding what do I need to do. So those of the missing concept or missing things in like people that they want to start technical writing career right now. I think I had the opportunity, or let me say, I was just privileged to get the concept earlier. So those things are like you publishing your content after publishing, then sharing across social media, you being consistent with what you create, finding a pattern with your content, with the content you are writing, like your own pattern. Even if you have like mentors that you check their content, but using that to drive your own pattern, and also doing a few things like applying to open source technical writing, well, that's free that you just contribute for free. In this case, FreeCodeCamp, where you can apply as a technical writer. One thing about them is that they have one of the best editorial team in the world. Like they give you honest feedback on anything you are doing, especially when you want to create content for them. So that feedback will shape the way you write and it will help you really grow faster than you even expect. So you can use the feedback when you are creating their own content or when you want to create your own personal content on your blog. So those are the things I would say would help if I'm going to start all over again, right? I will still repeat the same thing. And if I want to now take it as a technical writer, maybe full time, because I wasn't a full time technical writer, I was just writing during the weekends and continue my my primary job on a weekly basis. So if I want to start all over again, those are the things that I think I would even do again and focus more on writing free content and also ensuring that I use all my feedback because some people you give them feedback content after they fix the feedback their subsequent content they won't follow the feedback again, then they will share with you again for feedback. So I'm like, no, this is not how it works, right? Once you get the feedback, anybody you share your content with as a technical writer, maybe somebody you look up to, your mentor or random person you like their work online, and you share your content and they give you a review. They are giving you the review like based on the way you need to write properly, right? So when they give you that review, it's always good to put it on your left hand, like Yorubas would say, and you make sure that any of your content you use those feedback on all your content that you are creating. So that would already shape your content somehow. So putting you on the right direction. So now, if you still feel you need feedback again, now you've already gotten feedback from somebody and you've shaped your content. You've created like two, three, four content, and now you feel you still need more feedback, take that particular content, give it to another person. The person will realize that you're not far away from writing good stuff, but maybe he or she has like one or two things to just add up to support you with the whole thing. Then you can also get that feedback and make good use of it. So that's how you keep getting feedback until you finally, get all of those things right. At least there are no best content online, right? But just get some of these things right, then create your own pattern. Then from there, you're good to go.
All right. Thank you very much. So I have a two-part question from Emmanuel. Um, the first question is, um, I'm coming. The first question is, where do you publish your work? Then the latter question is, how do you get people to view your work?
Oh, okay, yeah. So where do I publish my work? When I started technical writing, I started from dev. I created a Medium account first. It was just there. I left it. I went back to I think Gift Iguenu from she's a developer advocate now. She shared a particular tweet about dev.to, which is a platform for writing. And I checked it out. I tried it. I created an account. I set it up and left it again. Then before I now found Hashnode, which is um, so when I found Hashnode, I created an account. I tried to just create at least one content. So when I created the content, I set up my blog. It was so fast and seamless. I set up my blog. After my blog, I was able to create at least one content. That's where I started from, right? So I started writing on Hashnode. Then when I think that answers your question, right? Those are the
Yeah.
places you can publish from. So one good thing about it is that they have like the dev.to SEO is so strong. Even Hashnode SEO is really, really good. And Hashnode also give you the flexibility for you to customize your own domain. Like I have my own idrisolubisi.com. Then if you add blog.idrisolubisi.com, yeah. So this is like the stuff you get by default from configuring on Hashnode for free. All you just need to do is just get your domain and map it, and you're good to go. So this helped me, right, to build my own brand and help me just figure things out within a short period of time, because I don't have like to start building the blog from scratch with React and all of that. So they already did the whole thing, and I just signed up, and it was good to go. So that's where I started from. But how did I start to promote? I made use of my social media handle a lot, even if I don't have like followers, and I just keep dropping it, keep posting, and keep engaging with relevant people that I feel they are within my own, you career path or niche. And I promote on LinkedIn, Facebook groups, and Twitter. LinkedIn, Facebook groups, and Twitter. So anytime I create a new content, I just write a summary, add the link, post on Twitter, post on LinkedIn, post on Facebook groups. Like I joined like few groups, right? So web development related groups, Facebook developer circle. Then now they turn it's now Meta, right? So I joined those few groups and always create content. So one thing I noticed I was doing like every time is I once I create content, I also take time to share it. I'm not that type of person. I just create content and just leave it. No, I create content. I try to share it. Like tell people what to do. It will help you a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much. So the next question is like two parts too. The first part is, if you start out as a technical writer, what are your growth channels? What opportunities do you have for growth, for development, for career development, like
Yeah.
that? That's the first
So you
part.
see one. Yeah. Okay. Proceed. Okay. Can I
No, no,
answer?
yeah,
No.
yeah, for it.
Okay. So one thing about technical writing is, and why I love it so much is that you see when you are writing or when you are creating content, you are also learning concepts twice. So it's just making you a better developer by default. So a lot of people will complain that, excuse me, a
Yeah.
lot of people will complain that they don't have time. The front-end developer has so many tickets to clear up on my desk. I have this, I have that. Fine, you are busy, right? So, but getting for you to be able to get into the field, right? How does technical writing help you? One, it helps you build your brand as a technical writer. It helps you understand concepts better. It helps you pick up like any technology with no fear, right? Because if you start writing now, you end up picking up this, you learn about it, you write about it. Pick this, you learn about it, you write about it. So even if you're a front-end developer, back-end developer, DevOps, at work, when they tell you, hey, we are using this technology now, would you like to check it out? You'll be free to pick it up, and before you know, within few days, you get hang of it, and you even write something on it, despite the fact that it's a work related activities, but it will help you, to give you that morale to check out new things, open for feedback, and it will help you personally. And aside that, it also helps you to create that writing and communication skills. So one thing that is always missing when you're a developer is that you might not have like that communication skill. You might have like the the most beautiful technical background. You know Java, you know JavaScript, you know Golang, you know all of those things. You are really, really technical. But when communication is missing, there's like you have like a huge gap in your career. So technical writing helps you fix that because when you are writing, you are communicating to some people and you're seeing them as an audience and you are also setting the right stage. So that's something that you can also translate to real life scenario where you communicate with your manager, communicate with your team members, and it will help you just grow by default. So you need to look at it from the aspect of I'm teaching people and I'm also learning those things twice.
All right. Thank you very much for answering many of our questions. Then there is one part that we have been shying away from, and
Okay.
that part is about this very interesting concept called
Okay.
getting rewards for your efforts in this field.
Yes. So the truth is that while I started technical writing, when I started writing, I I did not know you can get paid as a technical writer. Like there was no proper orientation that you can get paid. So thank God I didn't even know, right? It just gives me that focus to keep creating my content while I was working as a backend developer. So I wasn't really focused on because I don't know if they pay or not. So I wasn't looking out for gigs up and down. I just took time to create more content. And as at then, I didn't really know that it's essential for you to build your portfolio before you start writing because I don't know the pay technical writer. So I was just building my portfolio. I was just writing. My weekends, I'll just take one or two weekend out, skip O and best, then create content. So when I create those content, I just create them and publish them, right? So I did not really know. But to be sincere, we have large if you check, I think I wrote a blog about it where you can apply. You can get paid as a technical writer within $250 up to $1,000 per content that you create. So personally, I've earned from this really well. And if you check my end of the year review on my blog, okay, yeah, this is the blog for getting paid as a technical writer. These are like the sites that you can apply to get paid as a technical writer. But you need to have your portfolio. You need to have a solid portfolio so that you can be able to send in samples. And aside this, I also created um, I think I lost that train of thought. But I also created like a few aside the resource the where you can apply the platforms you can apply on. You also have okay, yeah, I published on my end of the year review. That's what I wanted to say
Oh,
about
okay.
how I learned uh, how much I earned like from technical writing. And this is not to cap or anything, but it's just to show everyone that you can do it and also you can get paid as a technical writer. So all of these things I'm saying, right? I'm not the full-time technical writer, right? I just do it in my part-time. So imagine those people, you see technical writing roles that are full-time, you collect up to $60,000 per year. So averagely, right, as a technical writer. So you can choose your path. If it's something you feel you can do full time and you will not get bored doing, then you can start shooting for roles as technical writer within any company. But if you think you just want to have like a career path in development, full time development as a front end developer or a back end developer, and you can combine it with technical writing, then just keep doing the technical writing on the side. And also, when you have the portfolio solid to start applying, then you can start shooting your shots.
All right. Thank you very much for answering many of our questions. We'll be
You're welcome.
wrapping up with one final question for today, and that is, you mentioned that you joined some communities where you share the content and that you have written and how you have written them. Um, some of these communities, are they open for others to join?
Yeah.
Do you have a list? Do you have them listed somewhere that someone can find them?
Yeah, so for now, I don't think I have it listed somewhere, but I can mention a few. So it depends on which platform, right? So on Facebook, for example, you can join there is this Facebook developer cycle. Facebook developer cycle we have almost in every state, right? So you see Lagos, you see Uyo, you see a lot of them. You can join here publicly. Once you log in and join the group, you'll be able to post your content here. So this is on Facebook, right? You can join all of these, or you search for web developers. There's a group called web developers on Facebook. So you can join that platform. So if you're somebody that uses Facebook a lot, and so that's on Facebook, right? On Twitter, yeah, we have like different communities, right? On Twitter. So you can join web developers also on Twitter. So there's this community option that you have on Twitter, right? So you can search for the community and join web developer. You can join technical writing community. Um, and also a few of them. Because one thing is, I don't want a situation where you join a community that is not related to technical writing and you start posting your content. Some of them they might get you kicked out, they might ban you or for some reason. So I'm trying not to mention like communities that are not related to web. So you can join there. You can join web development community. You can join technical writer. If you search for those communities that are open, I think you should be able to join. So, but aside this community on Twitter, I post here on my own personal account on Twitter. Like I just make a tweet about it, post on Twitter and all of that. So I don't really, it's not as if I only post on those community alone. Then moving on to LinkedIn, I also post on LinkedIn generally. But if you want to join like Discord server, you can join Web3 Africa community, Web3 then Africa community on Discord. You can also share your content there. There's a dedicated resource channel for you to share content, and we also promote those content on on Twitter on the official handle for Web3 Africa. So another one is on I think 4C community by Francisco. They also have a Discord server. They call it 4C community. You can search for them on Twitter. They have their own Discord. They have a dedicated channel for resources. We have tons of them like that. Okay, we have technical writing communities too. So one thing on Discord, if you're on Discord, you can do a global search and type in technical writing, right? You see community that have like a name that match that particular query, and from there you can be able to join the community and share your content. You don't spam them with content, right? You share your content in any of that dedicated resource channel. It doesn't mean that you need to send the content on all their channels, because most people have that notification turned on, and it will just turn out that you are spamming them with your content, and your content will now look unnecessary because you're already spamming them with so the same content like on all the channels. So most of them do have like dedicated resource channel that you can drop your content and share your content. And also the Hashnode server also, they have a dedicated article link channel that you can drop your article link and people do check it out and they promote it for you.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. I think we have come to the end of today's session. In today's session, primarily, what we have learned is how to grow the career with technical writing. We have had a series of questions from our guest who has done diligence to solving and answering some of these questions from his experience and career. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. See you next time from our next session. Bye for now.
Yeah, yeah.